Alright, so welcome to the first year panel. My name's Sunny, I'm the UQCS secretary. I'm a third year software engineering undergraduate student. I also tutor some courses, so you might see me around. What else? Yeah, that's kind of me. Alright, I'll actually hand it over to the more interesting people who are here today on our first year panel. I might start off with Paul. Why don't you tell us your name, your degree, which year you're in, and your favorite course so far at uni?
Okay, well, as Sani so nicely put it, hello, my name is Paul. I'm in my second year of university. I'm currently doing computer science. And in terms of my favorite course, I'd probably put it to CSSE 2010. Yeah. Cheers.
Hello, my name is Olivia. I'm in my fourth year now of a dual mechatronics and computer science degree. That's science majoring in computer science, just for the current distinction. And my favorite course is probably Meta 4201, which is control theory, which is pretty cool.
Cool. My name's Tashi. I am currently in my first year of Masters of Cybersecurity, and I graduated from my Bachelor's of IT last year, majoring in Systems and Networks. My favorite course is probably CSSE 2310.
Hi everyone, my name is Joshua and I'm a third year software engineering student. My favorite course has got to be one of the Deco courses, Deco 2800, where we got to make a game. And it was a team project and I was with a really good team, so that made it really good. Yeah.
Hi everyone, my name is Sheridan. I'm a fifth year electrical and computer engineering student. I think my favorite course has to be CSSE 4010, so the FPGA and hardware language course with Matt D'Souza. It's really fun.
Awesome. Hello. Okay, cool. I know how to use things. Okay, thank you for those introductions. We'll start off with, let's start off with something a little bit more fun. I think that's fun to talk about courses you don't like, right? So let's start off with your least favorite course at uni and why.
For anyone doing engineering and 4900, I think it's the professional practice one where you go into teams with people of different disciplines. It's a bit painful when you're with someone who doesn't know how to write assignments. So that's more of a professional practice one, but does anyone have anything more technical that they...
I don't know if it's a good answer, but the courses I wasn't good at are the courses I don't like. First year I was a flexible major because I wasn't sure what I wanted to do, and I did 1400, and I was really bad at it. I think I met the hurdle, exactly.
Like Eng 1400?
Yeah, Eng 1400, yeah. Yeah, I just didn't mesh well in my brain. But yeah, that course.
Cool. The courses I like are the ones that I'm really bad at. So when I struggle and when it challenges me, I'm going to like it. I'm going to have to diss on DACO courses a bit. DACO 2500 is just horrible because, yeah, it was just horrible. At the end, they're getting to do some kind of prototype, but you can't actually code for the prototype. To just have 50 slides of Adobe XD or whatever it is. So basically it's a giant PowerPoint that you loop between to demonstrate your user interaction thing, and you have to write a whole report about it. It's horrible. So.
Oh yeah, sure. For me it's really easy. It's Meta 4202, which is the robotics course at UQ. It's really terrible at the moment because of the lecturer. The lecturer is really awful. No, review on the lecturer, but yes, review on the lecturer. But yeah, I think it could be a cool course, but the lecturer is a mean man. It's true.
Oh look, now I'm a math fan, alright, but I think my one of my first courses here, Math 1051, it started off great. Don't get me wrong here, but towards the end, it went downhill fast. I reckon. It wasn't for me. I reckon. Yeah.
Do you want to talk about matrices, Paul?
No, I don't take electricities whatsoever.
All right. I'll take a question from the floor if anyone has one. Yes.
What made you choose the degree that you went into?
Ooh, that's a good one. We'll start with Paul since you've got the mic already.
Well, if you didn't know already, last year I was doing engineering and computer science. So this year I swapped to computer science. And I think, obviously, before I started uni, I had like a bunch of interest already in the sort of computer science area and all that. But I think halfway through last year, I kind of realized doing some engineering courses and all that I didn't really like engineering too much. And I couldn't really see myself being an engineer in the future. And so I thought, well, I think I'll cut my degree short a little bit here. And I think I'll do something I would more like prefer to enjoy and all that.
I originally started in just mechatronics. I knew I kind of wanted to do some kind of engineering, and mechatronics is a little bit well-rounded, I guess, so you get lots of different opportunities, and robots are cool. Then I did a bit of programming at uni, and I did a bit of programming in high school, and I kind of fell out of love with it a little bit. And then I came back to uni and found that it was really interesting again, so I wanted to pop that back onto my degree. And yeah, so I decided to go for the full 5 years and get a little bit more knowledge in there.
That's fun. Yeah, for me, cybersecurity, I've just kind of had a passion in computers since I was a child, and I don't really like following rules, and I like breaking things. So hacking and cybersecurity is kind of my favorite in the computing field. So that's why I chose Masters of Cyber. And also UQ has kind of like an upcoming program for it, and they're trying to build a lot of infrastructure around it. So I'm excited for that.
Yeah, for me, I think someone mentioned it before, but it was really, software engineering was really something that I could see myself doing like in a couple of years, in like 5-10 years, and it was something that, you know, I wanted to do even after I graduated university. I guess a lot of you are first years, so when I first started, I took CSC 1001. I had never done programming before, but I really enjoyed it, and I was like, yeah, you know, this is it for me. Yeah, I really like this, and I want to continue studying it for the next 4 years.
Mine is such a long story. So I didn't even start off in engineering or IT or anything. I started with vet science, and I lasted a month, and then I went, nah, I can't do this. So what I did was in my gap year, I crashed all of my friends' engineering lectures, so like Bench 1100, and I found that I really enjoyed it. So when I went to re-enter uni, I started off with engineering, but I was unfinalized. I wasn't really sure what it was that I wanted to do. I found that I really enjoyed software, so CFC 1001 and Eng 1300. So that's when I decided to do the electrical and computer major. So it took a while, but I got here, so yeah.
That's so awesome. Such diverse experiences that everyone's had, that it's really cool to hear. CSSE 1001 was definitely also a stepping point for me to get into programming, so nice to see other people had that too. Alright, do we have any more questions from the floor? Anything you're very curious about that you want to know as a first year? Yes.
In the new degree structure, CSS 2310 is a compulsory course. For those of you that did do it, would you still do it? So even though that's not a compulsory course, would you still take it knowing what you know now?
100%. I think, I can't speak for everyone here, but I think it was such a packed, full-on course that if I didn't do it, it wouldn't have forced me to learn or know the things that I know now. So while it was a bit of a struggle, 100% recommend doing it. Is it compulsory now?
Not in the new one. No.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Did you do it?
Yeah, I did it, and I'd probably also say the same. I'm pretty sure it's still compulsory for software engineering, but you know, if it wasn't, I'd still do it, because you really learn a lot from the course, and it's quite different to all the things that you had done previously. So, for example, in the courses before, you're given a lot of starter code, whereas in 2310, there really is no starter code. And yeah, that really forces you to learn, and yes.
Yep, absolutely. I failed 2 assignments in 2310, disclaimer, but I still passed the course somehow. I love that course, so it was a big struggle, but I learned a lot, and then I ended up tutoring it a year after, so it was great.
I actually already had it optional because I'm taking the science degree. It's not required in science, and I also took it. It's really good for giving you a really like low-level understanding of everything, and it really just like solidifies your knowledge so much. So definitely like recommend taking it. Just it's a lot of work, so try not to do lots of big work subjects together.
I'm doing it this semester. Yeah, that's it's a challenge.
Press F in the chats. Alright, cool. So talking about, courses, degrees, why don't we talk about something a little bit different, jobs, because I'm sure there's people out there who want to know if, you can get a job as a first year, or if that's possible at all. So did you have any jobs as a first year? So what was it? How did you get it? Did you enjoy it? Would you recommend?
I think last year with COVID, it was especially difficult. As a first year, I tried applying for many, but I found that companies were very wary of hiring people with almost no experience the first year. They want you to kind of go through the courses and kind of get some experience up, especially with courses like Comp 3506 and 2310. Those are kind of some really foundational courses which kind of give you the edge over first years. Yeah.
I did manage to land a job in my first year. I got it with just a little web dev company that, doing web dev for a little company, just making their website, nothing super special. I just applied for everything and anything, even if I felt like I wouldn't really have the experience for it. I didn't really have much knowledge in web dev. Of course, this was pre-COVID, so it was a little bit easier in the job market, but my advice would for sure be apply for everything. Even if you think you're not qualified, definitely go for it, because a lot of jobs will put their best qualification, and in reality, they're not necessarily looking for you to have all of these amazing things that they've listed on the job ad. So definitely just give it an apply, especially if it's just a matter of putting your resume in. There's no harm in it at all. And yeah, eventually you might be able to land a super awesome first year job. And even for example, Google has their STEP internship. If you're able to take the STEP internship, they also can accept first years if you've got good coding experience there. And yeah, if you work on stuff in your free time too, that also really helps your chances. I think it's the best tip. So work on stuff in your free time. If you're really interested in it, don't feel obliged or anything, and just apply for everything.
Yeah, definitely seconding that. Do your projects in your own time thing. Publish it on GitHub or something, or GitLab, open source. It's great. If you can show someone, here's a list of my projects that I worked on, and they can look at it and be like, great, this guy has experience. I also managed to land a job in first year. Kind of a different experience with her. I didn't throw my resume everywhere. It was very much a networking opportunity. So I met some guy that worked at Ernst & Young, and I also at the same time, I really encourage you, if you are in some kind of specialized field, do certificates. For example, if you really like cloud computing, do in your spare time, do an AWS training, or do Microsoft. I hate Microsoft. Aside from that, Google Cloud Platform, whatever. Do a Linux administration training. At the time, I finished my what's called OSCP, or the Offensive Security Certified Professional. So it's kind of like a penetration testing, ethical hacking license. I'm not really licensed, a certificate. So I finished that in the first half of my first year, and then through networking, I handed in my resume through the guy that I knew at EY, and then actually, if you think about it from the employer's mindset, it helps a lot with networking, because if you're the employer, you have job postings everywhere, and each day you receive hundreds and thousands of resumes, and everybody hates looking at a lot of emails. So you don't really want to scroll through your thousands of emails, and then one day your coworker comes in the door and be like, hey, I know this guy, here's his resume, he's pretty good, and then I actually managed to bypass their filtering process completely. Just got to talk like a one-on-one interview with the director that's hiring, and then I got the job. So networking, please just get to know people, and also certificates are really
I didn't get a job in my first year, so I think I'll just pass this on.
Well, I was going to say neither. So I think that's probably one of my biggest regrets. Again, it's not applying myself earlier on, especially because a lot of the friends that I know, they got first year vacation jobs and then they got their second year ones. And then by the time it came to the grad process, they had such an awesome resume that made me realize that I, again, should have been applying myself a bit more. Yeah, I think as well, that STEP internship, I did hear about that. That's actually a really awesome opportunity as well because it's specifically targeted to the first and second years, I believe. But yeah, again, networking as well is quite important, but that would be my biggest takeaway is apply early, definitely.
I guess I could.
Yeah.
Just really quick. I was a STEP intern over the summer, so I entered at Google. And I did have a first year at my cohort, so it is possible to intern at Google having just completed 1 year of uni.
Could I just add one quick thing? Just on the note, it is good, but don't feel pressured to get a job in your first year. It's very cool to just focus on your studies, to take it more chill. I mainly did it because I wanted the money to kind of support myself a bit better. But really, don't feel the pressure to. You can definitely pick up later years and still be in a very similar spot. And don't feel pressured. Like there's so much pressure and stigma in the computer science industry. I feel like to have like 10 different projects on the side and like 50 different jobs before you graduate. Don't worry about that. It's really not required. If you have a passion for what you're doing, employers and recruiters, they'll see that and they'll still be interested in you. So don't feel super pressured to go ham.
Definitely, don't feel super pressured, but don't do what I did and leave it to quite literally the last year. So I think as well, if you don't get anything in your first year, what we mentioned before as well, doing your own projects and hosting them online so that at least you have your own personal repertoire that you can then showcase for the next years when you are more experienced with your coursework. Definitely.
A lot of great advice there, I 100% agree. Apply, if you want a job but you don't want a job, that's also fine. Everyone's situation is a little bit different. But yeah, personal projects are also cool because aside from a resume thing, I feel like you also end up learning so much. Like I learned how to build websites in my free time and that was a pretty useful skill. So yeah, awesome. Do we have any more questions from the floor?
We have a
Oh,
couple
yep, back there.
Yeah, you were talking about networking. How do you go around actually getting into events or finding people to network with?
Oh, well.
Clubs, very quickly, I think there's an engineering networking event hosted by EUS this week. Is it tomorrow?
Careers fair.
Careers Fair. Sorry, that's it. Careers Fair.
Thursday.
Thursday?
Careers fair is on Thursday. Yes, I'm part of EUS, so I feel the need to advertise this. Please come. Yeah, there'll be some companies there, and you'll be able to see what kind of offerings they have, or just even chat to people that are already working there. Yeah. But also you can network with other students as well, at society events, and yeah, just people that are more into their degree than you are, and I think that'd be also a good learning opportunity.
Following from that, you can also talk to your tutors. Some of your tutors also work in other places. They are also more experienced in their industry connections. So, they're just normal people. You can go and talk to them, be friends. Also, obviously UQCS has a lot of networking events, and their various events will have sponsors, and maybe one day someone will show up working at various companies. Also, just from the security side of things, for me, there are various conferences that you can go to locally. Some of them are in another city, but Brisbane has a lot of them. So look up Brisbane security/hacking conferences, and then you just go, and it's just a giant networking event, basically.
Yeah, I don't really feel like I have much to add. Lots of clubs have great networking events. keep an eye out, just follow the Facebook pages of all of your clubs that you might be interested in, like jobs from those industries, and most clubs have some kind of networking event around it. Conferences is good too, they can be a little bit hard to get into, so see, but yeah, I just second everything everyone else says.
Likewise, I don't have much to add here, but I think I'll stand by my thoughts that joining UQCS in my first year was probably by far the best decision I ever made at uni. Simply because the networking opportunities and all the other things here are simply great.
Oh, the UQCS Slack, they have lots
Yes.
of stuff on it as well. Join the Slack.
Yeah, the Slack.
Yeah.
I probably don't know
Yeah, join our Slack. We've got heaps of like channels about jobs, and there's heaps of people who we have alumni as well, so they're already in the industry. They give out a lot of tips and advice, especially with when you're starting out your career. And yeah, UQCS does a lot of industry-related stuff as well. So we have an industry panel coming up this semester where we'll have some of our sponsors come in, and you know, you basically get to talk to the recruiters themselves usually. And that's a good way for you to sort of network with them, and they'll be like, oh, I remember this person from there, and that really helps you get your sort of foot in the door. All right, do we have any more questions on the floor? We've got a couple of hands up. Cool. I'll go with Bradley.
On the subject of clubs, can you recommend any non-engineering clubs to join?
This
I actually saw you yesterday at here. There's a gaming club, just like a board games club that I went to yesterday. Oh gosh, there's heaps. Beach volleyball, that's awesome. What do you guys enjoy doing?
I feel like there are some clubs that give you lots of freebies, so
Yes.
maybe that's something you should be interested in, like L-Card or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, apparently the UQ Economics Society has like free drinks a lot of the time. Like free cocktails at various places. I'm just throwing it out there.
I don't know.
Also, in the words of Hashi, putting it out there, I may also be starting my own society as well, the UQ Motion Picture Club, so check out on Facebook.
We should join that. We should join that. All right, James. Yes.
This is from online. Where is Hartley's Eagle?
Where is Hartley Teagle? What a great question. That's where your soul goes to die. Is my answer. I know I'm not on the panel, but that's just my answer.
Confirmed in the Bermuda Triangle. That's it.
For the first years out here who may not know what Hartley Teagle is, it's a building at UQ, and if you do have the misfortune of having to go there for class, either A, try to get yourself into another class. But if you can't do that, it's this really like old building, and like it's pretty easy to get lost in there because every level looks exactly the same, and then it's also like pretty isolated, so you feel like you're about to get murdered. It's great. There we go. Isn't that very inviting? Do you totally not want to go there? Alright. Let's talk about advice. What's your biggest advice to a first year? I'll let you decide who goes first.
Yes.
I'll go first. I guess the biggest advice for first years, don't expect yourself to know everything. Like for example, a student came up to me the other day asking about CSC 1001, and they were like super nervous, like, oh, I've never done programming before, when everyone else around me is going to have a little bit of experience and I wouldn't, I'll fall behind. But the thing is, you're in first years, like, you're not expected to be good at engineering, you're just starting, so don't put too much pressure on yourself to be succeeding straight away. And yeah, just keep that in mind. Yeah.
I think the biggest advice I can give would be don't feel too stressed if you don't know if this is what you want to do. coming from someone who's changed degree and major and all this stuff, I know so many people who come third year have changed, to a different major. Some people have dropped out, pursued something else. So this is the best time to try and explore all your different electives and get a real understanding of what it is that you enjoy doing. So, yeah.
For me, just make friends, make a lot of friends. Go talk to random people in your classes. Network is the most important thing. Also, kind of like computer networks are great too. Like UQ has a lot of free resources that you're not actually aware of, but you're like, kind of paying for in your amenities fee. So, for example, like read up the documentation and the help pages that UQ have. They have great services. EAIT has some really cool like free computing resources you can use that you might not be aware of because you haven't taken a course, but it's there. So yeah, do that.
I guess my advice would be don't underestimate yourself. I feel like a lot of people, especially when they're in first year, feel like they're like not with the pack, or like if you feel like you're falling behind, don't worry about it, because I guarantee there's a lot of people in a similar boat to you. No matter kind of if you are feeling a bit lost, don't worry. That's what first year is for kind of stumbling around a little bit, trying to find your feet. And second year as well, especially if you're in a big long degree like me. I still haven't really found my footing, so don't stress if you're not like super confident in everything you're doing, because that's natural and everyone's in a similar boat to you. So feel free to wander around a bit and to take things at your own pace.
I think my advice would be do uni your own way. So as a first year, don't feel obliged to do like 4 courses a semester if you don't want to. Okay, you can do 3 if you think 4 is too much for you. You can take it down to part-time if you want to work on the side. I mean, there's obviously like a status quo almost to like almost have to do 4 courses, but I've kind of came down to 3 in my second year, and I'm finding that a whole lot better than my first. So honestly, it's just pretty much just do it your own way. Yeah.
Adding to the whole course load thing, if you're doing 4 subjects, I always choose for myself like a chill course that you know it's easy just for that semester. If you're doing 4 courses, like for example, DACO is a good choice for a chill course. What was I going to say? Oh yeah, prerequisites are not actually enforced in EAIT. So if you like want to do 2310 your first semester, you can do it, just saying.
Don't do it.
Yes. You don't have to follow prerequisites if you realize something like, oh, I already kind of knew this content. You can skip to a course that you're interested in. Like for me, I do uni my own way, and I realized that sometimes there are courses that you're really interested in. They might not be like a really popular elective, but just go take it. Like you're paying for the courses, just do something that you're interested in.
A lot of awesome advice. I really definitely agree with, just let yourself explore. Definitely in my first year too, I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. And talk to your friends, talk to your peers. A lot of you might be in the same boat, and there's a bit of a stigma in the CS industry to not talk about sometimes how you feel a little bit like an imposter or you're not good enough. But trust me, everyone feels like that. So talking is good. And talking about imposter syndrome, let's talk a little bit about mental health, because that's something that is really important, especially when you're at uni. Sometimes you feel like you're drowning with assignments. How have you coped with stress at uni and sort of dealing with mental health, keeping that, yeah.
So I find that I stress when I do 4 courses. Since second year, have only been doing 3 courses. So I often take extra time to just do the stuff that I enjoy. I'm really lucky that I have a lot of friends and family for support, because I definitely do find sometimes that I struggle. And the way that I cope with it is really just talking to people. Yeah.
I guess my biggest tip for like coping with stress or like preventing myself from getting too stressed out would be to really keep track of all your due dates, because the worst thing that can happen is like you hear from a friend that, oh, we have an assignment due in like one day, and you're like, where did this come from? So really like looking at your ECP the first thing of the semester and like putting all the due dates on a calendar, and yeah, if you do that, it like prevent you from getting too stressed. And also someone else mentioned I like to have a chill subject, like one of my easy courses in the semester. So it's when you take 20-10, if you take 20-10, I really think it's good to do that with like a chill subject. So yeah, those are my top 2 tips. Chill subject and keeping track of all your due dates on a calendar.
Yeah, funny story, I realized that the assignment was due at 10 o'clock, like 45 minutes after it was due. So that was funny. On the note of stress, I think for myself, just tracking myself over the years, the most stressful times would be around exams. Like, I realized the rest of the semester I will be fine, and then when it gets to like maybe week 10, 11, 12, 13, I just go into this crazy grumpy mode where I'm like, holy crap, I'm gonna fail my exams. What am I gonna do? So like, kind of watch out for yourself around that time. Make sure that you have like, for me, it's easy to like go on like, maybe if you use a digital calendar, you can set like tasks for yourself ahead of time. That's kind of like how I deal with it. It's like, okay, I know that I have to do this. If I put a calendar item maybe 2 days from now or next Tuesday, then that's, you know, that day's problem. Let's not worry about that for now. So that kind of, yeah, makes like a try except block in the future for yourself to do your assignments. And then you don't have to worry about it now, and then you can handle what you have currently today.
Yeah, I really like the idea of having stuff in a calendar. I have my Google Calendar is like my Bible. It's where I have like everything. Like if I'm seeing a friend, you know, it's in the Google Calendar because I want to make sure that I'm like allocating my time and can see what time I have available. I also really enjoy having just a to-do list of all the tasks and when I have to get them done by. And it can be even like the really basic things like, oh, I need to watch the lecture for this week, for this specific course. And I just find having a big long list, I can tick it off, and it makes me feel, I get quite stressed during the semester with a lot of assignment load. And I find if I'm just able to tick something off of a to-do list, it just like calms me down a little bit because I can be like, I'm getting something done, rather than just like watching a lecture and not having a reward for it, I guess. Because you can get the little reward of being like, yes, it's done, it's off the list, my list is shorter. It's really great. And also just like talking about it with friends. It's a good idea to make friends in your courses. It's a great idea to have friends outside your courses too. But just being able to like be like, man, this assignment was really rough, it was such a long report, I spent ages on it, and having a friend go, yeah, me too. Like I really found like I was writing it up like really late last night and I don't know if any of it made sense, and then you can just like kind of feel a bit consoled about someone else is struggling along with you, and you can, by sharing in your struggles, you can kind of feel a bit better about each other. So yeah, definitely, especially in like practicals you have in person, if you're sitting at a table with some people you don't know, definitely introduce yourself, talk with them. Some of the greatest friends I have at the moment, I just met at a prac table for Eng 1300, I think. They just happened to be on my table one day, started talking to them, and yeah, now I followed my whole mechatronics degree with them basically. So yeah, I think that's my tips for de-stressing.
I think in my first semester of uni, I didn't plan very well, and I think halfway in the semester, I ended up having a little bit of a mental breakdown because there was this one week where I had like 3 or 4 big assignments due at the same time, and there was a tube due like the next week or whatever, and I was like, ah, and it wasn't a great feeling. But I remember that like in that moment, like my one strategy to just like get me out of that situation was just to focus on one task at a time. And just think to myself, okay, I gotta like focus on this for the next like 1 hour, and then get this out of the way, and then focus on this next task, and then get it out of the way. Because the worst thing you could possibly do is to think about the entire thing all at once and think that it's almost unsolvable. You got to think about it in steps and kind of like go through it systematically. Yeah, but that's how I kind of made it through my first semester.
I just want to add something, like especially if you're doing a high load of courses or if you're working part-time, set a day of the week to just do nothing and rest. Like, put that in your calendar, just be like, this day I'm not doing work, I'm not doing study, I'm doing whatever I want, and make that your rest day so that you can actually recharge.
So important for not having breakdowns is having
Yes.
time to rest. Otherwise, just it builds up. It definitely builds up, and then you rest too much, and all your assignments go out the window.
A lot of really good advice, and something I'm just going to mention to first years because they may not know. I only found out about this like pretty far down along in my degree. Is UQ does offer mental health support. I don't know whether it's the best one out there, but it does exist. You know, if you do need to talk to someone, mental health is important. So you know, if you are having lots of breakdowns and you don't know what to do, which happens to like most of us at some point in our degree, talk to someone. It's really important to keep your mental health should be your first priority. First-hand experience. Don't it's terrible, but sometimes stress builds up. And, yeah.
Alright. So they're a bit hard to book in, because you have to book like quite far in advance because they get quite booked out. But they're really helpful. The main downside is you have to book it quite in advance, which is a bit unfortunate because
plan your breakdowns, guys.
Yeah. So make sure you know what time you're gonna have the breakdown. You're all good. You're all good.
Just a really quick note on that, there is an emergency support line if you ever do need it. It's on UQ's website, so if you are in a state that you just are not handling it at all, UQ do have a thing that you can get in touch with someone right away. And then of course some more long-term stuff at the moment due to COVID is quite a long way. But there is support there right away if you need it.
Another thing worth mentioning on that is for anyone who has like long-term mental health conditions, you can get student access plans for that. And a lot of people only hear about these access plans for people with like disabilities or chronic illness, but if you have a mental health condition, you can also get access to those plans so they can help you out with like getting more extensions for subjects and things like that. And that's something that I only found out a couple of years since my degree, so that's something that's also really important if that's like something that's ongoing in your life.
I'll just repeat that for the mic because I don't know if it caught it. Okay. Yeah, we got it. Awesome. Okay, sweet. I don't have to repeat it. All right. So let's move on to something a little bit more nostalgic. What do you miss the most about being a first year? Should we start with Paul, the most recent first year?
Man, last year feels so long ago. What do I miss most?
My car.
The what?
My car was like the UQCS one, no?
Yeah, look, I can't say I have to miss so much about it because we were only here for 3 weeks, and that was kind of it. I mean, I got to have the real UQ experience for 3 weeks, and then we went for 3 months, and then I mean, like in semester 2 it picked up, but I think so far semester 1 of what it's been here in 2021 has been better than semester 2 of last year.
I think what do I miss most? Maybe like trying new things a bit more. I feel like I am a little bit more, spend a little bit more time on my studies now and working. So I feel like I've had a little bit more time to explore different things in first year. So I think definitely if you're in first year, try to explore as many things as you can. You might find different things that you like.
Yeah, to me, first year is so long ago, I don't actually remember. I have a really bad memory, but I guess like easier subjects with more chill. I have less responsibilities. That's about it. Yeah. But like honestly, I think now in my 4th year or whatever, it's kind of better because you know at this point what you're doing and you know your way around uni, so like you don't get lost randomly or something like that. So there's a sense of niceness that comes with that.
I'd probably have to say from first year, the thing I missed the most was meeting people, especially because of first year, everyone's so eager to like make friends. So first year is probably the easiest year to make friends, and I'm not sure if it's because I had an online second year, but you don't really find a lot of that in second year. Third year, a lot of people like to keep to themselves. I might be one of those people as well. But yeah, first year is definitely probably one of the easiest years to make friends, and those friends you can also keep for the rest of your degree.
I was actually going to say that as well. It's been such a long time since then. But I think it was such an exciting time to meet so many new people, especially when you get into like your second and third year. You start to really know a lot of people in your cohort. But your first year is the first time that you'll be out in the open. Myself personally, I'm from Gold Coast, so I didn't know anyone at all. I was at a completely blank slate. And I just remember exploring EQ and thinking I was, like a little adventurer going around and finding cool places to study. But I just remember that excitement. So yeah, meeting so many new people.
Awesome. Lots of really interesting things. I guess like something I miss is just like how, like I don't know, it's nice like being a first year because you're so keen for uni, and then you get to like your third year and you're like, I really want to leave. Please let me leave. I just miss being excited about things. Uni sucks your soul. Get out like you can. Sorry, that's terrible advice. Don't listen to me.
It's recorded.
Okay. Do you have any questions from the floor?
Liv and Ash mentioned earlier about personal projects and that it's good to do them. What projects that you guys enjoy doing, like personal projects, and do you recommend any in particular?
Ooh, I have some uncompleted ones.
We tried to build a drone, and then COVID happened, and then I didn't see anyone. So I don't have too much personal project experience, but I'm sure these guys have a bit more.
For me, I think like at the end of my first year, I got really sick of like the sign on system for classes and tutorials were different back then. It's not like you schedule your preferences. It's like you wake up at like, I don't know, 8 a.m. or something. You click that, you refresh the page, and you click the button madly until like you're the first one in the course. So like I got sick of it, and I built my own like scraper bot for the sign up thing. So like I would just there was like a very limited time frame to test it, but like it was great. So you can like squat for courses, and at the moment it opens, and it's great. Like, and you can host it in like a UQ server, so there's like minimum delay between you and the sign up. That is a thing of the past now, because we have a new system. But web scrapers are great to build. They're fun because also they're a bit more difficult now because everyone uses JavaScript for some reason, and it's gross. But like try using like browser automation frameworks like Selenium or whatever, and then try to scrape things off pages and automate your work. Automation.
I feel like my personal projects that I've done is a little bit weird because I'm a real big fan of doing like Coursera courses. I know it's kind of like extra study on top of your study, but they're very chill and you don't have to, there's like no stress in them because it doesn't matter how much you do, you're just there to learn and kind of do some cool little projects that they have with them. And for example, I did a machine learning one, the really famous one by Stanford, and it was really great, and it helped land me a job at CSIRO too, which was very cool, having that knowledge, and I just enjoyed doing it in my free time anyway. So if you like a non-stressful learning environment, then Coursera is, or like insert Udemy, insert other online course program here. And most of them are free too, done by top universities, so it's pretty cool.
As a UQ student, you have free access to LinkedIn Learning. It was previously called Linda, but yeah.
Did that get fixed? Because we didn't used to have access. Do we have access again? I don't know.
I don't know.
Okay.
Try it.
I think for the most part, the projects that I kind of followed up on was like the projects I knew I would have fun doing. Like, for example, I'm a big Minesweeper fanatic, if you guys don't already know, and I went and coded my own Minesweeper game using like Python TK Inter. That was really fun. And then I think another one as well was like a game tool I use as well to kind of like customize the kind of like worlds and all that. So I think for the most part, yeah, it's just been really like coding game tools and all that, which I found really fun. Yeah.
I have one more. Hackathons. Come to hackathons.
Yeah.
Hackathons are really great, a great bit of fun. Even if you don't have an idea, you can often join a team and just work on something and have a blast. Hackathons are really good.
Yeah, for the hackathon, I made my own jazz band. Really cool.
Oh, that's what I was going to say, hackathons. I didn't make a jazz band, but we tried to make a checker robot, like a robot that could pick up and play checkers. But yeah, definitely, if you want to especially collaborate with new people, definitely look out for those events. Yeah.
Joshua, do you have anything to add?
I actually haven't got any personal projects. Yeah, but I'd say maybe it's a little bit off topic on the question, but what helped me in my resume when I applied for jobs is having leadership positions instead. So don't be afraid to apply for like exec positions like at the end of your first year, because you can get positions as a second year, and I think that's what helped push me through to an internship.
Awesome. Yes, please. Exec is good. I think I became a UQCS. I was on the committee in my second year. I don't know what is time. But yeah, it's definitely very rewarding as well. And you get to meet so many new people. I think some of my closest junior friends now I met through UQCS and like being on committee especially. So yeah, it's pretty cool. Would recommend. Yeah. All right. Again, questions from the floor. Anyone? Annabelle.
What's the highlight of the degree been so far?
I think what I'm enjoying now, and it's far down the track if you're doing engineering, but my thesis, which I know, mind-blowing, but it's because I'm doing it with CSIRO, and it's something that I didn't have any professional experience before, and I'm going there quite a lot. I got to do also like the vacation scholarship with them as well. I think it has been that professional experience and being able to do stuff that I didn't think I would be doing. So it's in machine learning, which I didn't have any prior experience in. But yeah, that would be mine.
Only one thing from the whole degree. I don't know if it's a bit like cheesy, a bit cringy, but I'm learning. Like if I compare myself to like what I could do or like what I know at the beginning when I started my degree to where I am now, it's very satisfying to see the progress. So I think just like seeing myself and how I developed and how I've grown over those 3 years, that's probably been like one of my favorite things doing this degree, and like it's made me excited to see where I'll end up at the end of it and even in the future. So yes. Yeah, just being excited to learn new things and like overcoming those challenges of finishing the course and like moving on to the next course. It's been really satisfying. So yeah.
I have to say that I'm speaking on my own behalf and not as an employee of UQ for this, but I like kind of hacked a bunch of UQ systems every year with coordination from the IT department, and then I can tell them like, here, your stuff is broken, and then we'll fix something. And it was great because I got to know people that worked in infrastructure, and that there's a sense of fun that you get exploring around systems, not like maliciously, but just probing them and seeing what happens, and kind of know that you're in the network. But that's be very careful with that. Please don't break anything, because that might be against the law.
I guess I really like that I kind of know some stuff now. I kind of know how some things work. Studying engineering and computer science, I kind of know a little bit about technology. I wouldn't go so far to say it's a lot, but some things, and it's really cool being like, hey, I kind of know how that works. That's pretty cool. So I think that's like my highlight of like going on through my degree, just being like, wow, I know something. I learned something in my degree. It's very cool.
I think my highlight so far has to be the clubs and societies around here at UQ. If it wasn't for them in my first year, I'd probably have zero social life, due to COVID, of course. So it's like it's helped me meet so many people. I've had so many great times so far through UQCS and through other clubs as well. So I mean, if you're in first year, just go out with the clubs. Just join whenever you want. Have fun, really. Yeah.
Yeah, 100% agree. Have fun. It's your first year. You know, don't stress. Stress is for later. You know, when you're in your third year and you're like, oh, I should maybe be an intern because I have engineering hours to fill. That's something I should do. And that's when you stress. Until then, have fun. And this is Sunny with terrible advice. Thanks for coming. All right. I've got another question. Is there anything you wish you did as a first year that you didn't get a chance to? If so, what is it?
This is my question.
I think try more clubs. I was a little bit spooked to try like clubs kind of just a bit more randomly because I thought they were kind of clubby and wouldn't be super into like new people. I don't know. I just felt a bit awkward about trying out new clubs. So definitely try out like clubs at UQ. I think is my regret. I wish I tried out more earlier. Yeah.
Applying for tutoring is a great thing to do, even if you're, I don't know if you can do that in your first year. But
You can.
You can?
Yeah.
Yeah, do it. It's a great opportunity. If you like really enjoyed a course in your first semester and you did moderately well, apply for tutoring and like tell the people that ran the course how great the course was. And tutoring is actually a great opportunity to meet other tutors and make friends and actually like see how it's like from a tutor perspective, how students learn, and that helps in your own learning as well. So I didn't get to do that in the first year. I wish I had, yeah.
I suppose mine would be to have more fun. I felt like first year I was like really stressed about getting good grades and like finishing assignments to like, you know, making them like perfect or whatnot. But yeah, so just I think I should have had a little bit more fun. So for example, like trying social clubs and meeting people through that, that's something that I think I should have done through the first year. And yeah.
Joining UQCS. So like all the awesome events. I remember hearing from my friend there was like lots of free pizza and like just paying to go to the hackathon, doing something, but then eating meals for like the weekend was kind of cool. Yeah, I didn't get to do that first year, so it's great that you all have already done that. And bring your friends, please.
Yeah, all the good stuff. Yeah, you can apply for tutoring in your first year. I got my first tutoring job in my second semester, which was so scary. I was like, this is like, because I didn't start programming until I came to uni, and then I was like, so I'm meant to teach people how to do this, now I barely get it myself. But yeah, you know, like sometimes like in your first year, like and even throughout your uni degree, push yourself out of your comfort zone. That's kind of what uni's for, is to explore and figure out what you like, what you don't like. And in the end, you just end up growing as a person, and that's always cool. Do you have any more questions for anyone on the floor about anything at all? Yes, please.
What is your go-to food spot on campus?
The new vegan place. Very nice.
Tenko's. Yeah. The udon is really, really good.
I have to agree with Kenko, just because it's really convenient. I don't have to wait for the sushi. Either that or, I don't know if this is healthy, but like Boost, sometimes, just because like, I don't want to sit down and eat, I just want to walk to my next class, I order Boost and then drink it as my lunch. Yeah.
Right. I would say that the Physio Cafe, the new one, so it's above the vegan place. It's kind of close to this building, so they have a lot of food options. Also nice coffee at Market Cart. So
Bagel Boys, they're pretty good. Have big bagels. You can go for a pretty cheap option too if you're not looking to spend much on lunch.
Personally, I think Kenko's is a pretty kind of quick option, but if you're walking from far away, I highly recommend ordering GYG beforehand. So then, during the lunchtime rush, by the time you walk up there, your order's already ready to go while everyone else is still waiting.
Okay,
That's
so
pretty great.
the pho at the Lakeside Cafe is pretty good. So if you're looking for like a long lunch to chill at Lakeside Cafe.
Cool. The rice paper rolls from Lakeside Cafe, I really like those. They're a good like to-go food as well if you're like rushing to your class. I've done that plenty of times. I'm like, can I have some? And take it away and you just eat it in class. But yeah, Bagel Boys, by the way, if you don't know where it is, it's like behind Forgan's correct? Like it's next to Darwin's? I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's on like the other side
Yeah,
of the
the
place,
other
pretty
sides.
much. But yes, Bagel Boys is good. A lot of good food breaks. No, I want food. Yes, ma'am.
Can I ask a quick question? Follow on, what is your favorite study spot on campus?
Okay. I think my favorite study spot has to be the Biosciences Library, simply because that has my highest record of study time in a row without getting distracted.
Ooh, I don't know. I think like around Talk and the engineering learning centers and just Dorothy Hill is pretty good. I pretty much just go wherever there's somewhere free because I feel like spots are a little bit hard to get a lot of the time. So my strategy is always pretty much just wander around. If you can get one of the booths in advanced engineering, oh, that's like the best feeling. They're so good and you can like really focus because they have like a nice wall, but they're pretty hard to get. Yeah.
My advice would be, so if you go on student.eait.uq.edu.au, there is a page under Labs Access. You can see all the rooms that your access card has access to. And then you just look at all the room numbers, you go around campus and tap all of them, and then check which spaces are free. It's a good idea. Also, because when you do like different courses, they assign you to different rooms. So you can see like why you have access to different rooms. And some of them are just completely random, but you can still get there. So.
If you're lucky, I think one of my best study spots is if you go to the top of the advanced engineering building, there's like this little balcony where you can like look at the lake, and if it's empty and the weather's good and you're there by yourself, I think it's a really great study spot. Yeah. So either that or the top of the law library. Yeah.
But now you've mentioned that it's not going to be empty.
Oh no! I've revealed my secrets.
I guess wherever my friends are. I remember studying all throughout my degree at that. Is it the learning center?
Yeah, first year learning center.
Not the first year, but like the
Sile?
Sile?
Is it a name? GPS.
No, it's like
The second year learning center.
Yeah, the second year learning
Yeah.
center, which is
Like
where
upstairs.
yeah, it's just upstairs, or 2 floors up. But yeah, just so many great memories. I think it's also, like I said, where all my friends are, and being able to collaborate, and just having a lot of fun as well. Yeah.
I think you do need to be an engineering student to have card access.
Oh, do you?
I think so.
Sorry, Rex.
Just sneak in.
Yeah,
There's-
oh,
the
or you
door's
can
open.
sneak in, yeah.
Just
Oh, yeah,
sharing
just-
friends.
Yeah, or just wait for it to open it. That's what you get. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm also going to give a special shout out to the IT Learning Center that's in GP South. So if you just go to the building across the street, the first floor, you'll probably find me or some of the other committee members there around the clock pretty much because we kind of live there. I'd say it's not a great study spot so much as it's where you get distracted and then you go, I think I studied. I had the lecture open on my laptop for like 6 hours. That counts as studying, right? So yeah, so a lot of cool places. Alright. Any questions from the floor? Anyone? Okay, like this kind of relates a little bit to your favorite course, but what's a course you recommend the most? And maybe this might not be your favorite, maybe something that you recommend people do. And I'm going to take 2310 off the list if we haven't talked about it. So aside from 2310, what's another course that you would recommend?
CSSC 2010. It's a great introduction, and I found that was where I started really enjoying my degree a bit more. I don't know if anyone else had the same experience, but for us it wasn't a breeze, but it was enjoyable.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I think I'll also go with 2010. It was quite enjoyable. We got to like the little like space alien shooting game thing, and that was really fun. I think a course is really good when you enjoy it as well.
I'm going to give a shameless plug to Comp 320. That's the Vulnerability Assessment and Penetration Testing course. So it's kind of like the only course in UQ that teaches you how to hack stuff. So shameless plug coming this year.
I feel like courses that aren't covered just yet. I think taking project courses are always good. If you have some in your degree that like are optional, they really do give you a good experience. You can put them on your resume too. And I've always had lots of fun with them. Even if you don't have like favorite people in your team, it can still be a really good learning experience and still be lots of fun.
I think I'm going to have to also say CSSC 2010 is also pretty good. But since you guys have already said that, we have to also recommend CSSC 1001. Great course which teaches you the fundamental basics.
Hopefully you're all taking it. Although maybe some people have credits for it, but it is a very good course. I'm totally not biased. I did tutor it 3 times.
Can I just add something about the project courses? So there are like a bunch of course codes that you don't usually see on your course list, or like there's like all the way down there. So if you search up like ITEE projects, there's a list of projects that usually only thesis students do. But if you're interested in some of them, because you're kind of like niche in one area or whatever, you can apply to do those projects under some kind of various course codes. Like I had an example called CSSE 3006, but basically they set it up just for you with your supervisor, and then you can do like an industry. You can call it internship, but it's like a project joined with industry. You get like paid half of the course fees, and you can, it's a great thing to put on your resume, and it could be fun projects as well. So, and because like the people who look for those projects, they don't always get a lot of students, so it's really good when you like approach them and then tell them, hey, I'm interested.
That's such really good advice. I didn't even know that. Also, compilers is good, by the way. Yes, friendly.
What about a course outside of the ITEE school?
If you've done any, you may not have gotten to that part of your degree yet.
I mean, I have engineering courses, but I haven't done any courses that aren't like I have mech and mining courses if you include that in outside of ITEE.
Yeah, that sounds good.
But yeah, my favorite course, Meta 4201, is done by Mech and Mining. Ross is the coordinator, and he's the head of Mech and Mining, and he's a really cool guy. His courses are really great. He does control engineering too as well, which I'm going to take this year or next year, I think, which is looking really, really good. I don't know, has anyone here taken like free electives, like some random course? They have?
I mean, I have, but I didn't enjoy it.
Oh. Oh no.
If you're like in your 3rd year and you have like an elective left and you want something completely easy, you can do like Sci 1000. Pretty sure that's
Oh no, you might not be able to because they're like too similar. So there's like incompatible courses. So make sure you double check. If you're doing a course that you think might be similar to something you have done, but it's from a different, like offered by a different school, make sure you double check. If it doesn't say anywhere on UQ, email like an academic advisor, and they'll let you know if you can or can't take it. Because it would suck to pay all your fees and do the whole course, and then they're like, oh, this doesn't count for credits, and you're like, great, thanks.
I mean, I have to recommend it because it was compulsory. But for electrical engineering, there's a physics course that you have to do. I forgot what it was, but like the course 1002.
Yeah.
That's the one. I think it's all about electromagnetic waves and stuff, but I think that's the only non-ITEE course that I've done. I wish I did more, but I think now you have a lot more freedom, but with the old degree structure, you really didn't have much freedom to do anything free. Basically, everything was quite rigid, but I think now it's quite a lot better. So if you're starting this year, you're starting like the perfect time to basically be able to kind of pick what you want to do a lot more. And we kind of got a bit more restricted where we couldn't do that as much, unfortunately. So definitely go for that. Try courses that you wouldn't normally try. Live the freedom that we didn't get to have.
What was the course you did, Joshua, that you did like? Maybe we'll all like it collectively.
So I started first year as an engineering and commerce student. I took introduction to accounting. Second semester, I was an engineering student. Yeah, it was just wasn't my thing.
Alright, I'm avoiding that now. I have heard there's like a course, I don't know if UQCS still offers it because it's mainly catered for exchange students, but you can take it even if you're not an exchange student. It's like a Morris course, I don't know the exact course code, but basically you can go out to like one of like the islands pretty much, and you do like a bit of like marine biology and stuff like that. And you don't need any prereqs. They mostly like give it to exchange students. It's like, come explore Australia, you know, you're an exchange student, but you can do it even if you're a domestic student, and I've heard it's really fun and like pretty easy. So yeah, unfortunately I haven't done anything outside of. Does a math course count? Because I'm doing operations research right now, and it's pretty decent so far.
That's a good course.
Good course. Oh, I just remembered the 1 month of that science that I did. I remember there was one course where we had to like keep a food journal and record our, like all of our habits. And then there were like other introductory vet practices, but I mean, this isn't really applicable. It's all the way out in Gatton as well, so yeah, it lasted a month, so yeah.
So, do you have any more questions? Kenton?
I wanted to ask, what is your favorite wind down or relaxing activity at the moment?
Ooh. Sleep.
Sleep. I'm gonna take that one. It's sleep.
It's sad no one here has hobbies. I really like to watch shows. I think like I really like the show called Attack on Titan. It comes out on Monday, and it's just like watching a show every now and then. It's a really good way to relax.
Shit posting on various online chat services like UQCS Slack.
I really like playing games with my friends, especially late at night. We'll get like sick of just doing uni and just be like, screw it, we're just playing games. We're done, we're tired, and we'll just play games together. A bit of Among Us, bit of like shooting games, bit of Jackbox is always good too if you have a lot more people. Definitely recommend, pretty fun.
I think I'm definitely with Liv. Over the holidays, I was doing a lot of Among Us, especially late at night. But I think right now I've been doing a couple of like video editing projects as well. So I'm just become like editing a podcast myself right now, just like for my own friends and all that. Yeah, so just winding down like that, I guess.
And will you listen to your podcast, Paul?
You'll have to consult my friends first.
Alright, that all sounds good. Don't forget to join Slack, especially that one, please. It is really good. There's like memes there. There's talking about jobs, talking about uni. lots of like really niche stuff too, like channel of like functional programming and like C and like, I don't know, whatever else. And also if you are a first year or a second year and you want a mentor, that's someone who's like a student at UQ but like further ahead in the degree, please sign up. This is the link. It's also on our Facebook page and other social media that we have as well. So yeah, do that. You might get something out of it. And it's our first time doing it, so we're super keen for you to do it, and we can hopefully iterate on it and provide even better and bigger mentorship programs for other students coming in the coming years. All right, so that's it. Let's give a round of applause to our lovely panelists.